Hey, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Creative Convos, the podcast. I am your host, Faith Joy, here with another episode, y'all. Listen, y'all really showed up and showed out last week. Like, I'm really blessed and I'm really happy to know that I have people like you, whoever you are that is watching, that is truly dedicated to this process, that's truly a supporter, that is truly signed up to be a part of this journey, Creative Convos. This is such a great moment for me, and I'm just really happy. I'm really happy and I'm really overjoyed with how things are going. So I ask, if you are tuning in for the first time, make sure you get over to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, follow, leave a review. If you're on YouTube and you're watching me right now, hey, girly, hey, guys. I'm just happy. Today I feel really good to be here. I feel really light. I feel really free. So I just want you guys to make sure that you follow, subscribe, tune in. But if you have not already, make sure you get your pen, your pencil, or your notebook, whatever you like to use to write to get into this conversation because it's going to be good. This is episode 21. We are here with a special guest. Before I introduce him, I want to make sure you know that this is going to be good. Like, behind the scenes already has been lit. It's been a really good conversation. I'm meeting him for the first time, and we're going to get into that. But today's episode is going to be called Finding versus Fulfilling Purpose. Finding versus fulfilling purpose. And my special guest is here with me today, Mr. Jason. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored. I said you're
Yes.
up and I'm up. The harder you grind, bigger you dream. I'm just in awe. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm here. I'm all in awe. I'm
Yes,
ready.
loving the energy. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here with me.
Vice versa.
Yes,
Vice
so
versa.
I want you to first introduce yourself. He is a community activist. He is doing so many things in his community, which is in PG County.
Yes.
You are the founder of
Grind hard, dream big.
Grind Hard, Dream Big,
The
which
harder you grind, the bigger you dream.
come
Yes.
on, hit
Yes.
them bars. It's bars for me. Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself real quick.
So my name is Jason Borsico, community youth advocate, motivational speaker, content creator. I have my podcast called Grind Hard Dream Big and my business Grind Hard Dream Big. It started July 5th, 2020. I just hopped out on Instagram, created my account, did everything I needed to do, made a motivational video. People were tapped into it. I wasn't really looking at the likes and the views and all that, but I just stayed consistent. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and
Wow.
even Sunday, just every single day, just saying, motivational words. It'd probably be like a minute video. Then I got into like the reels and doing 15-second ones. And then it just built from there to November 6th, 2020. Shout out to my guy, Vegan Steven, because I was working with him. And he was like, yo, I think you need to do a podcast or something. Like these conversations, you need to keep them going. So I was like, all right, cool. So I hopped out, did my podcast, and then did one episode, and then it just led to the next. I don't even know how many episodes I have, to be
Wow.
honest.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Just
Yeah.
stepping out on faith.
Yes.
That's one thing that we are very, very, very for certain about here.
For
On
sure.
KCP, we step out on faith and we talk about our faith walk. So we will get into all of that. But before we get into that, I want to introduce you guys to the topic. So we're talking about finding and fulfilling purpose, finding versus fulfilling purpose. And I want you guys to understand those are two different spectrums. Those are two different lanes. And for me, I believe it's very important to identify when you are coming out of the finding phase to now stepping into fulfilling phase.
For sure.
And I believe you are doing work that is literally profound. One, thank you so much for what you do for our people, for our community, for our youth. But
Appreciate
you
that.
talk about a lot. You talk a lot about finding, then fulfilling, and
Yes.
understanding that purpose is something that we all have.
Right,
Right.
absolutely.
So before we get into it, I'm gonna give y'all some definitions because we love to keep it 100%. So you know that this is not from me. This is literally just what God has given me. But I want you to have the knowledge to understand where we're going with this. So finding, some of the words and things that are attached to that: identifying, discovering periods, seeking and understanding, seeking God; fulfilling, having the knowledge, moving in wisdom; leading, having a clear picture, moving in it; purpose, the reason for which something is done. Created or something that is existing. Creating or something that is already existing. And then being intentional, having an objective, destiny, God's will. So when I was looking it up, I always try to find realistic ways of teaching, realistic ways that people can understand versus it just being our perspective. And then I always connect it to the word. And the scripture that I use for this specific topic is Romans 8:28. And it reads, and we know that all things work together for good of them that love the Lord, to them who are called according to his purpose. So after hearing all of that, from the words that connect with finding, the words that connect with fulfilling, the words that connect with purpose, and then hearing the scripture, what do you get from that?
I feel like that's like spot on. Like Romans, I ain't gonna lie. Romans they be whamming for real. Like if you really are like tapped into your Bible, like Romans is definitely one of those books for sure. But I think that is very important because like when you find it, it's like you're scattering around. You're just like in explore mode, right?
Yeah,
Where it's like
yeah.
okay, it may be this, it may be that, but then when you literally like know it's you, then you're gonna be like feeling like, oh yeah, I'm excited. I done got this thing. Now it's been, confirmed or revealed to me. I heard the word from God, or now, this person said it, then another person said it, then
Yeah.
another person said it. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well the third time's a charm. You better move on that. You better go ahead because, it's the confirmation that the other people are giving you after God then gave it to you. So I think that, looking into it and really, putting it together, it's like a puzzle for real.
That's
You know
good.
what I'm saying? It's like a puzzle for real. But once you put that one piece together, then you got to put the other piece, then the other piece. It'll all fall in line. And I know for me personally, it's like, yo, it was a minute. It took me a while to find it, but I knew that I would be someone to kind of, inspire the next generation because my teachers were saying that at an early age. And I ain't really like pay attention to them. I'm like, what you talking about? Like, what? What you mean? But it came back full circle where it's like, yeah, you are gonna be the one. So I heard it from like maybe 4 different teachers throughout my, kindergarten to, all the way up to college. And it
Wow.
was like, all right, cool. And then once I decided to do like the youth work, I went back and I emailed them and they're like, I'm not surprised. Now walk in that room like God sent you.
Wow.
So it's like
Full circle.
full circle for me. I'm like, that's what that purpose and now it's fulfilling. So the work that I do, I don't show up drained. I feel like I'm excited. It's like being on fire for, just helping, youth or really just tapping into my younger self.
Yeah.
I think, where it's like, being who I needed when I was younger. So what does that look like? Someone that you can, talk to, things like that. Like shout out to my family. I have mom, dad, uncle, aunt, niece, nephew, brother, sister, cousin. But like that person I never really got to connect to, now I find myself being the connector for somebody else.
Wow.
So I feel like that's really what
That's
it is.
purpose though.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you say it that way because the nuggets were dropped from the people that were telling you, the people that were teaching you, from your own mind, from God revealing it to you slowly but surely. The nuggets were dropping. It was your choice to go and pick it up.
Facts.
And say, okay, I have to take this because this is something that I'm going to use. I have to take this because it's something that's going to make me better. I have to take this because this is connected to my future. And we sometimes miss that.
Right.
We sometimes miss that opportunity to say, okay, God gave me this. He's showing me this. Or we also do the thing of being naive to reality, right?
Right, yeah.
You're naive to the fact that purpose lives inside of you. So my next question would be, when did you realize that you've arrived to purpose?
I feel like, I take it back to 2020. Like I started a podcast and everything, and Miss Kimberly Marshall, she was the mentor. And like we came across each other, we was talking on Instagram, and like she was like, yo, I like your page, everything like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. She was heavy into the community. So this was like something I was thinking about, like, okay, well, if I want to get into community, how would that look? So she literally took me under her wing. She was like, okay, whatever you want to learn.
Wow.
So then once she really embraced that, like embraced me, because I'm like, okay, this is an older person And now, like, years down the line, we doing events together from, feeding the homeless to back to school drives, Dave and Buster's, all
Wow.
of these things. She embraced me like a millennial, because now I'm saying I'm like the older generation is like Gen X, millennials, then of course, Gen Z. But it's like the fact that she embraced me and welcomed me with open arms and was teaching me along
That's
the way
beautiful.
was just more so like, okay, this is something different. So I definitely admire her and realize like, yo, she was really pushing me to,
To your
reach,
greatness.
yeah, to that
Yeah.
greatness, to me. Like, look, I see a lot in you. You may not see a lot in yourself right now, but I see a lot. I see you doing X, Y, and Z. I see you being, bigger or better and elevating. And we're heavy on the elevation part. So we definitely are locked in. And I feel like every event, she's always constantly reminding me of when we're good, when we're bad. But I feel like accountability is key, and we always
Yeah.
lock in with that. And
That's
like, that's my
good.
big sister for real.
Oh, well, shout out to you. One day I hope I can meet you because you sound awesome. I hope you can watch our interview too. That's really
Oh,
dope.
she's definitely gonna tap in for
That's
sure.
really dope. I think even if we go back to what we were just talking about behind the scenes, being that advocate and that mentor, it makes a huge difference on the child that doesn't have.
Right.
The child that lacks that support, that guidance, that that love at home. And then God sent you someone that was like, okay, I'm gonna stick with you, and now I'm gonna walk you through this process and
Right.
help you get to where purpose is. I already see it in you.
Right.
I already know that you have it. Now I just need to help you wake it up.
Right. Exactly.
That's dope.
Yeah, she be reminding me time and time again. She like, yeah, you did that event. That was cool. You know what I'm saying? But remember what got you there. So it's like we're really heavy on that. So like even if it's like a reel she'll send me or like even like little things like that, and we always support each other and show up for each other in the biggest ways possible. Even
Wow.
the little things. So it's like learning how to support somebody. What is a sponsor? Things like
Yeah,
that. So she's
yeah.
giving me game on that. It's like, okay,
Teaching
well,
you.
yeah, teaching me along the way. So, just being coachable and, listening to understand as opposed to reply. But,
That's a whole nother
that's a whole
conversation.
nother conversation for it. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's good. That's good. So, um, now you said something that I'm thinking about. You said, well, each one teach one.
Right.
Each one teach one. What does that mean to you when you hear that phrase? Because you do mentoring, you do community activism, you do outreach. What does each one teach one mean to you?
I feel like for me, I would just say like whatever you're capable of doing in that particular space, like it can be 5, it could be 10. I think at times people get caught up on a number, but as long as somebody took something away from it and you're able to literally meet that person where they are and take them where they deserve, whether it be like, empowering them through the words or the actions, that's important. So I think that's what I would say like reach one, teach one means.
Okay, I love that. All right, so what does or what do you or how, I'm sorry, how do you transform from finding to fulfilling purpose? Like, if you were teaching someone else versus your story, how do you now go out and teach the youth? How do you empower the youth with your own story, but also teaching them how to come into their purpose?
Yeah, I always ask. It's funny because like with the youth, I always ask them like, "What's your favorite song?" or like your favorite artist, and that tells me a lot about them. To kind of because like I said, for me, I don't judge kids from like the music that they listen to and things like that, but it gives me an interest. So it's like, okay, cool. Now I know that you may like raw wave or something like that. That you may like
They love some raw
yeah, they
wave.
love raw
Lord
wave or they
Jesus, they
like
love 'em.
NBA YoungBoy or something like that.
Uh-huh.
The youth they keep us young. So I feel like we gotta really know what type of frequency they on, what type of time they're on, and
That's
stuff like
good.
that. So with that, it's like, all right, cool. Now I know your favorite song. Cool. We could talk about life, and I can drop that seed into you. And now it's like, all right, what do you want to do? And I find that some of the kids are struggling to find out what their dreams are or things like that. So like vision boards are important. Doing workshops around that. Even goal setting, even if it's something small like, oh yeah, I want to get an A in this class, or I want to get a B in this class, or I want to be able to, clean my room, for a week, or like a straight month. I don't want my mother or my dad to like kirk on me, whatever it is, whatever it looks like, and it could be something so small but seeming so big for them, and just telling them how it really works, and then just being vulnerable and being open and honest to be like, hey, look, man, I understand. I was tripping off of that too. So once they understand that you're imperfect,
Yeah.
they're like, all right, you know what? Hey, you know what? He ain't that bad no more. I can open up to him. 'Cause
That's
like,
good.
yeah, and I think that's the thing too. It's like you can have this big wall up this whole entire time, and you're like, yeah, I did X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third, but you want to be approachable and show that you're vulnerable and imperfect.
That's
Because
key.
guess what? Like, now I'm saying God is perfect. We ain't.
Come
So
on.
that's
Come
all I'm
on,
sitting there.
church.
That's why I'm sitting there thinking about, like, I bet. But I think once it is, it's beauty in the imperfection, and that's what I'm learning with these, kids or anybody that I talk to. Like, there's beauty in it, and then it just goes from there. So
That's good.
Yeah.
That being the example is literally key because they are so privy to social media. Youth
Right.
is they're so microwavable as far as they want the quick fix. They
Right.
wanna get to the bag. They wanna do the thing that they believe in their eyes. Y'all believe in your eyesight because of what you see. This is what you're gonna get. When reality is, you have to do the work.
Right.
You have to be willing to do the self work, internal self development, self growth, self evaluation, but also do the work on the outside, which then that self development work will then translate onto the outside, and then purpose will then find you. Going back to your story,
Right.
For purpose found you because you was able to do the work. You were able to listen. You were
Right.
able to be open to the person that was trying to show you the way.
Right, for sure. And you have to, and I think once you understand that, it's like, I bet it becomes, the work becomes lighter.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that
Yes.
I would say the light work is easy when the shadow work is done. So I feel like, yeah, all
dropping
that
bars
stuff,
from
all
here.
that stuff where it's like, yo, okay, bet. Now I'm saying I had to do this in private. God is going to reward you in public if you continue to do what you need to do in private. So that's what I had to really take on and learn. It's like, okay, bet, you want to speak, you got to practice. How many times you getting your reps up? You said you want to do this. How you going to execute? How you going to organize? How you going to plan? Who's going to be involved with this?
Come on.
Things like that. So, and then building the relationships and how you show up for people is
That's
definitely
it.
important.
That's it. Let's talk about the show up. Let's talk about the show up because listen, I struggled for a very long time with showing up, like in the capacity of I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I don't have anything else to give, so I'm not showing up.
Me and you both. Me
I
and you
think
both.
we've all been there,
Yes,
right?
Yes,
we've all
absolutely.
been there where we've just been like, I can't do it no more. But then you become accustomed to that mindset, and
Right.
then it becomes an excuse, and then it becomes, oh, I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to do it. And now you're lazy. Now you're entitled, and that can be a crutch.
Yeah, for
right?
sure,
That
absolutely.
can definitely be a crutch. So when it comes to finding purpose and it gets hard and you're in the like tug of war or the valley. Let's talk about the valley. Hello?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the valley versus the mountaintop. When
Right.
you're in that valley and God is training you and teaching you and he's molding you and he's making you go through these things, how do you keep faith in the process of the valley?
Well, I feel like for me, I could just say shout out to the Bible app. I ain't gonna lie, like the Bible app is so clutch, y'all. If y'all don't have that joint, like
Download it.
go
This
get
is
that
not
joint.
free. This is not free.
Yeah,
promo.
like go ahead and
Sorry.
like, nah, for real though, like it really just kept me sane throughout the whole entire process because it's like leadership is not easy. That was a term I felt like, okay, wait, I'm a leader. Like, wait, I had to embrace that, and that's what some people were, it was really, foggy for me. I'm like, yo, it's, I'm used to it being sunny outside and all that, but certain things are just so foggy for me to see. But it's like it was more so the things I had to do to make sure that everything would just be running afloat. Like, of course, in the Bible they said Noah built the ark, but when he built the ark, people was looking at him like he was crazy. Then the rain came, but he was ready. You know what I'm saying? So I
Come
look at it from a
on.
standpoint, it's like,
Come
all right,
on.
certain things you had to build early and then just understanding that. So I think for me, being futuristic was cool because I always like to see, down the line. But I think God was just like, okay, well, I need you to focus on this particular moment. What is it going to be now? Whatever you need to do right now, move on it right now. So it's just like that procrastination and all that can, definitely have you in the valley.
It will have you in a chokehold.
It'll have you in the chokehold real fast.
Have you
And
in
then
a chokehold.
Right, and then you have to embrace the position that you're in. and or the role that you're playing. Because like every time I know for me personally, like being in the front or being in the back, okay, play the back, play the front. I don't know what to do. How do I show up? How do I
That's
support
good.
someone? So like for me, I'm like, okay, we're in this social media world. So it's like, is it likes, views, or is it needs and love? Is it
Wow.
wants or needs? Like, what is it for real? So
That's
when you
good.
understand the need, then it's like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Because you can want everything, that's the flesh. But then obviously it's like, nah, like this is what they need, and that's the spirit.
That's good.
That's the
That's
spirit.
good. You helping me here. You're helping me. I'm thinking about how God, when he's cultivating you, when he's creating you, when he's molding you, you have to go through all the seasons.
Yes.
You have to go through all the steps. You can't
Yes.
skip being in the back of the line before you get to the front of the line.
Yep.
You
Hello.
can't skip having to take your time to get to the front. Like my bishop says this all the time. He says, "Don't get on the elevator too fast. Be willing to take the stairs."
Yeah.
And that is literally how you understand and you really appreciate and embrace what it is that he's doing in you, what he's doing through you, and
Right.
then you'll be able to really see, oh my gosh, it's really sunny outside,
Right.
and I can enjoy this sunshine because I've been through the storm.
Right.
I had to walk through all of this, and I didn't quit. I didn't give up.
Exactly.
I didn't throw in the towel. And God was literally revealing to me recently, like, Faith, everything that you've been through has literally been to get to these moments.
For sure.
Like all of what you had to go through was building you and creating you and cultivating you to become the woman that you are today. And some of us don't want to go through that.
Right.
We don't want to go through the breaking. We don't want to go through the pruning. We don't want to go through the shaping process because
Right.
it's hard. But not realizing that all of that is going to be where you get to the place where we go back to our scripture and it says, and we know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. If you love him and he got to send you through some things,
Right.
be willing to go through it.
Right. You can't be.
Listen.
You can't have things handed to you prematurely, because it's like you're
You're
not
gonna
gonna know
drop
what
the
to do with it.
ball. You're gonna drop
You're not
it.
gonna know what to do with it. So like I feel like every season and embrace the season, and I just tell myself all the time like joy lies ahead because the wilderness doesn't last forever.
It does
It
not.
doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Just
Joy
continue to do
lies
what you do.
ahead because the wilderness don't
Doesn't
last,
last forever. It
You really
don't.
need, you need to just rap out here. You need to go get on a track, a gospel track or something.
Like it doesn't though, and I think that's what you have to tell yourself every single day, And I tell myself the situation will change when the mindset does. That's it.
Come,
That's it. Like,
Jake, he's over here dropping all these bars.
like seriously, like that's what it is for me. And then when I shifted it, and like I said, journaling, is so therapeutic. So that's what I do every day. If I don't journal, I know it's like, yo, smack me in the face, because I know I need it. Like I need the journal, I need the release. So that's another thing that's really been helping me throughout this process too. Just
That's good. So let's
journaling
talk
and
about
stuff.
that. So what does that look like for a man to journal? Because I know a few. I'm not biased to anyone. I know a few guys and even young men. Let's talk to the young guys that struggle with expressing themselves. We actually just did a self-love week at work, and we had a workshop where we asked the students to come over to the table and write a letter to themselves.
Gotcha.
And most of the guys were just like, no, like I'm not doing that, Miss Faith. That's not something that I'm open to. That's not something that I want to do. So for a person that struggles in that area, what would you give them as far as advice? Like, why is it important to journal?
I think of, let's say you had a water bottle and you had a bottle of soda, right? If you take those two things, I think right now for boys and men, we're the bottle of soda, right? Like it's a lot of things that we've been through, and then of course it's like you shake up the soda so much, you get tired, angry, upset, all of that, and then it gets to a point where you may want to open that soda, but you can't enjoy the soda because it's going to explode. You know what I'm saying? So you're going through all of that. And writing in that process, you can transform from the bottle of soda to the bottle of water, being cool, calm, and collective. Once you
Wow.
start releasing, like, okay, look, it was Monday and I was angry about this. I wrote it down. I committed it to memory. Now it's like, okay, it's Wednesday. I wasn't tripping off of what happened Monday. Like I can take slow but sure steps to make the progress. And I think that it's important for people to write what they feel, because we all are human beings and we all got emotions. But it's like, how do we channel those emotions? If we don't have outlets, then we're just going to be out here just on a rampage or something like that, and that's not what we
Healthy.
need to have.
It's not
It's not
healthy.
healthy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You want to create healthy habits, and to be honest, like having all those things bottled in and having a notebook and a pen or a pencil to just jot everything down, it's a release. Like, oh, 1,000 pounds is off my shoulders. I don't gotta worry about this no more. I can just sit there and take it here. It's
Wow.
safe. It's good. It's secure.
That's good. The
You know what I'm saying?
safety, the
Yeah.
safety in the journal. We might need to do that as an episode. The safety in the journal.
Yeah.
Coming to you live from KCP, okay? KCP, the safety in the journal. I love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
We on a serious note, we sometimes take for granted the resources that are available.
Absolutely.
We sometimes take for granted the opportunity that God gives us when he gives it to us and it's right in front of our face. A simple piece of paper and a pen. You just look at it and you already have a negative association to it.
Right.
Because it's like abnormal to you, right?
Right.
And then we kind of go into the mindset of, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to involve myself in that. And that's literally how you end up walking through life.
Right.
Because you're not being open-minded, because you're not being willing to be exposed to things that are going to actually help you. And I think that's a good topic. I like that. Okay, I like that. So, what is something you journal about on your day to day?
About just like what I see in the world, how I could really like fix something. Because I feel like it's a lot of problems that could be solved, but it's people that probably don't want to, fix them. So I find the joy in connecting and bringing the bridge and like, all right, bet, like this is a new idea. Ooh, this is good. Let me go ahead and write this down and let me go ahead and execute on this and things like that. So yeah, problem solver for real. Like I think it's definitely important.
That's good. That's good. I like that. And I don't think about my journal. I do journal technically in a problem solving mindset, but my journaling in that way is like business driven. But when it comes to like, I have three different journals. I have one for God, like my prayers and what I'm going through and what I need from him. I have a goal journal, and then I have a business journal where I write like all my plans and stuff for the different things I want to do. So now I think I might go get me a problem
I'm trying to get
solver.
like you. You got 3 different joints. I just got one.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
no,
I just got one.
You need multiple.
Yeah.
Because they all live in their own lives.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Honestly, if you
absolutely.
and I think about that, like you go back to the soda bottle. If you putting everything in one journal, how can you? It's you're asking the journal to compartmentalize what it is that you're putting in there.
Got you.
When in reality, it all lives in one avenue, one life.
Right, yeah, no, I agree. And I think, I think, to take the step further back, like, with it, like, for them to start, just start. Like, because I think
good.
once you do that,
That's good.
it's like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Now, I done started, now my homie around me can start,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
else. Because sometimes they just waiting on you to push the button.
That's good.
Once you push the button, it's like, okay, bet, we going to go. Or like, yo, okay, hop in the car. Who going to start the car? You start the car? All right, bet, we all going to drive. Because now they realize, like, I feel like all of us have purpose in this world, and we're like, all right, bet, like the light, whatever it is like once you move, you'll be surprised how many other people move around you. You'll be so surprised.
That's key though, and you don't realize that your purpose is also connected to someone else. That's basically what you're saying.
Right.
You choosing to go and to take the first step will then bring on a whole lineage and a whole legacy of things that you didn't even know was walking behind you.
Facts.
That's okay. We dropping gems around here. I love
Yeah,
it. I love it. How you feeling? You good?
I'm good. I'm
You good?
I'm
All right.
good.
I just want to check
I'm
in
good.
with you.
I'm good. I'm loving this.
If you guys are watching right now currently, make sure you go over to YouTube and subscribe. I would hate to be you and you miss out on all of the good information that is dropped daily. All episodes are on YouTube. All information as far as social media platforms, content, everything happens on YouTube, Instagram. Make sure you follow me, FaithJoy_, so FaithJoi, not a Y, _. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms so that you can get everything when it comes hot and ready. If you don't mind, while we taking a little second, what's your Instagram information?
My Instagram information at JAYFLOW301MD at JAYFLOW301MD.
Okay, make sure
Yes.
you tune in. Make sure you lock in with him. He got good stuff going on. All right, so our last question for tonight. What works when dealing with a difficult situation? what works for you when dealing with a difficult situation. So I want you to think about this in the sense of finding purpose. We kind of walked through it already, but I kind of want you to circle back. And for a person that's dealing with finding purpose, they feel like they may have seen it. They feel like the gems have maybe been dropped. They feel like God may have spoken to them, but they don't know God's voice. They feel like they're just in a place where they're really trying to figure this out. When they're faced with these challenges, what works?
I would say being patient really works because, like, when you jump the gun, it gets spooky, it gets dangerous, like, when you do that. So I would say definitely be patient and inspire before you expire. Like, realize that you are moving in the right direction and telling yourself that you're a vibe and you're dope and you're amazing, because those affirmations that you tell yourself, you're your biggest critic. You're your biggest fan. It's not really what the people are doing or saying, because you got to tune out all that noise. And it can get, loud. It can get rough and it can get tough. But people will ask you what. People will ask you where. People will ask you how and when, obviously. But as long as you know your why, you're good.
That's
Why you
good.
did it. Like, why'd you start? And remind yourself every single time. If it's a tough time,
Go
I
back
feel like
to
quitting.
it.
No, go back to why you started. What was this all about?
Yeah.
So your why is very important, and hold on to it.
And your why is your purpose.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
literally, that's how you shift from finding to fulfilling purpose. When you figure out that purpose, when you figure out the why. Why am I here? Who am I here to serve? Who am I here to help? Why did God give me this gift? Why did God give me this talent? Why am I keep finding myself coming back to this moment of realizing, like, this is what I am here to do? When you have those aha moments, that's God.
Yeah.
When you have those moments where it's like, dang, I keep seeing this same thing. He keeps sending this same sign. He keep sending this same wave of people or conversations keep coming back to me where I'm realizing, like, I'm avoiding a question. I'm avoiding. That's the challenge, and I've been through that. Like, literally, I was faced with the challenge of not answering a question when God kept putting it in my face, and it was all connected to my purpose.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, until I was able and willing to answer the question, which was, why are you here?
Right.
Why are you here? Why are you at the job? Why are you in this relationship? Why do you have these circle of friends? Why are you in these rooms? Like, why? Your why literally connects you to everything else. And once you figure out your why, you're able to freely walk in purpose. You're able to freely arrive, and you feel so much freer. Like, I literally feel free.
Yeah.
Now more than I've ever felt in my life. And it wasn't until I was willing to challenge myself and do the inner work and do the inner digging and really commune and lock in with God and seek him and ask of God, why did you call me here?
Right.
Why did you call me here? Why did you put me here? And when he really woke me up, I was like, dang, I've been missing out on all of this.
Right. And sometimes we always tell ourselves, like, why me? But it's like, nah, he chose me.
Yes,
You feel what I'm
he
saying? So now he chose me.
chose
He
me.
chose me. It's not
Yes.
why me. He chose me.
He chose
you know?
me.
So I would just remind yourself of that. Like,
Yes.
he chose you because it's like he knew that you can do this.
Yeah.
He would not putting it. He would not gave you all of this if he didn't know that you were anointed to do it.
Come
You know what I'm saying?
on.
You were qualified. That's
Come
the word
on,
of the
you
year.
are
Like,
qualified.
You're qualified.
You are qualified.
And verified by God. Like, you're not verified by the world. You're verified by God.
Period.
what I mean?
That's
So,
good.
yeah,
If
for
you're
sure.
not verified by the world, you
You're
are verified by God.
And if you're not qualified by people, you're qualified by God, for sure.
We're gonna end it on that note. That
For
was
sure.
that was it right there. I am so thankful to have had you here with me.
I appreciate
you
this.
really definitely are a gem. Like, you're a diamond in the rough, and I pray that God continues to lead you and guide you and do whatever he sees fit for you. You really have like a wise mind.
I appreciate
It's
that.
definitely dope to see a man, another black man here on KCP podcast dropping not only dropping gems, but really being vulnerable and transparent with the things that you went through and you had to go through in order to get to where you are. So I definitely pray that you just continue to walk in it and don't stop. Don't
For sure,
stop.
vice versa back to you. And I think that, like I said, like the Holy Spirit and you praying, I think this is very powerful. Keep elevating, Queen. I see you.
Thank you. Thank
God
you so
sees
much.
you too, and God loves you, and he knows what you
And if you didn't know, now you know. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to KCP Podcast. This is episode 21, Finding versus Fulfilling Purpose. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be sure to follow us, subscribe on all social media platforms. All our information will be down in the descriptions. I love you guys so much. See you guys next week. Mwah.
For sure.